Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to our presentation and it's great to see you all. So in this time, me and my group will present about innovation in teaching writing. So before that, let me introduce my group. We are from group 3 that consists of 3 members. They are me, Irfa Alafia, my student number is 39, and then Rufi Kusuma Dewi, her student number is 44, and Friska Putri Agilia, her student number is 52. So, before we going to explain about our discussion, let me tell you about the table of content. The first is definition of writing. The second is purpose of writing. And the third, challenges in teaching writing. And the last one is innovation in teaching writing. So without any further ado, let's get started to the first material. So the first material is definition of writing. According to Mayers in 2005, says that writing is a process to proceed language which we do naturally when speaking. So writing is a communication with others in a verbal way. Writing is also an action, a process of discovering and organizing your idea, putting them on a paper, rephrasing them, and revising them. And we know that in academic purposes, writing is one of language abilities that have to be mastered by students. In the field of writing, students can express their idea, their feelings, and opinions in the form of a sentence. And writing is not a simple activity because there are various aspects that must be mastered. In writing process, students must focus on selecting ideas, vocabulary, punctuation, spelling, and creativity in using language, and of course, students must pay attention to the grammar. And we come to the second material that is about the purpose of writing. So actually, what are the purpose of writing? And according to Reid, there are three purposes of writing. The first one is to inform. It means the writer can give information to the reader. And then the second one is to explain. It means that the writer can write something to explain a thing or a situation that happens. And then the third one is to amuse. It means that the writer can make the reader happy or the reader interesting with their writing. So that's all from me. The next material will be delivered by Rofi Kusumadewi.
Okay, I'm Rofi Kusumadewi, and from this slide, I will be continuing the explanation about challenges in teaching writing. So, writing can be said as a complex activity to do because they want it or not, students are required to understand the linguistics aspect of writing. But this thing and any else's things that actually can lead to several challenges for both students and teachers. And for the challenges number one is about motivation. So being motivated in education can be one of the bases that can encourage students to keep going through their lives of being students. And when students have a motivation in writing class especially, they will have a different perspective toward that subject, and from that they will show a tendency of having a behavior as well, which more like showing a better effort to level up their writing skills. And then the next challenge is a lack of interest. So when it comes to writing, the goal of writing itself is to construct a writing project, right? Yeah. But what mostly happens is the complexity to compose a good writing is often challenging for students. And previously, I want to say that every linguistic aspect is important, but here I want to give emphasis about vocabulary and grammar. I mean, because both of these things play a big role in students' writing activities. First is because students need vocabulary to make sentences or even paragraphs. And then second, students need grammar to make their writings to be more meaningful and understandable. So when students are still poor in their linguistic aspects, it can be one of the internal factors that can lower students' interest in learning to write. Okay, so that's all. And now another challenge is about the different skills level of students. So the common thing that happens in many classes is that students of different skill levels are usually placed in the same class. And this difference will make teacher difficult to meet all of their levels at the same time, because different levels of writing skills will require different approaches as well to teach writing. So as the result, teachers will find it difficult to plan their lessons and then prepare appropriate and supportive activities for their students, like that. And then let's continue to the next. It's about environment. So environment has a vital role in the learning process. And in the case of in a remote area, students are usually not really supported by their surroundings, especially their parents. And if this happens, it will raise a difficulty for the teacher to teach in a remote area where basically most of people are still thinking that learning English is not important for their children. So to assist this thing, students can, as students, teachers should be down to have a collaboration with parents to convince them and then tell them that English is also important just like any other subjects. And then for the last challenges is about the lack of professional experience. Okay, so being lack of professional experience will cause stress and tension in teaching, because teachers are not really used to that situation. Yeah. On the other hand, teachers can be said as experienced teachers if they have had a lot of experience, of course, that they get from their teaching experience or maybe from their previous training. So it does have meaning that teachers can only prepare the appropriate activities if they have known well their students' characteristic and interests. And of course, this will take time for the newbie teachers to adjust to their students. So during this period, it will impact on how the newbie teacher prepare their teaching materials and then prepare appropriate lesson plans and also appropriate activities for learning. Okay, so that's all about the challenges in teaching writing we have provided. And for the next material will be delivered by Friska.
Okay, I am Friska Putri Agilia and I would like to continue the presentation with the innovation in teaching writing. So the first innovation is by using picture sequence. This method can help students develop their ideas and also exercise their creativity. Teacher will first give the student some pictures in order and then ask them to write 1 or 2 sentences for each picture until it makes a paragraph. The second innovation can be applied through collaborative writing. So students will be given a piece of paper with this kind of template. You can see it on the slide. And then the first student will start the prompt using if sentence. And then it is continued by the rest of the student. For example, if the first student write, if I were able to fly, then the second student will write, I would fly to the moon, and so on. And the next one is using comic strip. This method can help students deal with the difficulties in complex language because mostly the language used in comic is something we usually use in our daily life. And teacher can provide a comic strip without the conversation and the student can fill it up. And then round robin story. This method is also can be called relay writing. So teacher will divide the class into some groups consisting of 5 each. And then the first student will write the introduction paragraph or introduction story, and then they have to move to their friend's work and continue it with their own ideas. And the last one is the implementation of ICT or Information Communication Technology. One of the media that can be used to teach writing is Microsoft Word. It can detect the mistakes made by the students in the terms of structure and spelling. Other websites like Grammarly and also Reverso also could help them checking their writing. And others media like Facebook, Twitter, Padlet, and also blogs also can be used as the writing media. The student can share their writing there, and then the rest will give feedbacks or comment on their writing. Now we come to the conclusion. Writing is a very complex skill because we have to pay attention to many aspects such as vocabulary, grammar, structures, and also punctuation. In the context of teaching, it can be challenging for both teachers and students. However, teachers can make the learning process more interesting and effective by applying some innovations such as round-robin story, teaching with the help of ICT, comic strip, picture sequence, and also collaborative writing. So that's all about our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.